Sorry about that, everybody. We are live. It's Matt's fault. I don't know. Matt was doing something weird and crazy and delayed us, like always. But we are here finally. Now that we are live. Matt, how are you today on a lovely Sunday?
I'm all right, but my right eye is all swollen, so I apologize. I'm not wearing my hat like some teenager in the '90s. I'm wearing my hat so you guys don't see the fact that my eye is incredibly swollen. So I'm doing it for aesthetic purposes for the show. So I do apologize. I don't know what happened last night, but I get allergies in Vegas from time to time. So other than that, I'm great. It's football. I can't believe it's week 7, and the slate stinks, like out loud stinks. But hey, it's football. I can't complain too much.
This is terrible. This is terrible. So yeah, I mean it's football though. So we'll deal with it. What I'm really interested in, Matt, is what you guys wound up with for your circuit teams, because I remember, Matt, when we did it last year and having to pick games, 5 games, when you've got this ugly a slate is almost impossible. I don't know what you think, Matt, if it's better to start here with what are the games that you like affirmatively were like, okay, if this were a game in any week, not just the shortest week in the history of the world, this were a game in any week, I would really like this game. You want to start with that one?
Yeah,
like your
sure.
favorite game?
My favorite game is the Chiefs minus 4.5 against the Titans.
Okay.
And it's because I feel like there's good 50-50 action on both sides. Most books are seeing people. You can make a strong case for the Titans, which I like. It's a game where I think in other weeks you might see people go, if the Chiefs weren't the Chiefs right now, to a month ago, this would have been all Kansas City money, everyone betting the Chiefs. And the number went down. I mean, the number went from 4.5 to 4. And that's why I bet it last night. I bet it at 4 for Kansas City. I bet we have, I think both circuit teams are on the Chiefs. Yeah, both my circuit teams are on the Chiefs at minus 4.5. And I just think we talked about it last week a little bit about how the narrative changed a little bit. And now the Bucs have become that team where everyone's betting on them and they're not covering. The Chiefs are now covering. And at 4, I just don't trust Tannehill. I don't trust this offense, and I don't trust that secondary at all for the Titans. I don't care if they're at home or not. Letdown spot after the big win on Monday night, short week. Any week right now in this spot, I would have taken KC minus 4.
Yeah, I don't, Matt, I mean, I have like an irrational love for the Titans anyway, but
So
I don't. Do you do? Okay.
I bet the over. I bet the over 9.5 wins. I mean, I like this Titans team, but then you look at what the secondary looked like on Monday night, and they're not getting many guys back today. They're going to have a really hard time, and Tyreek Hill's going to play. They're going to have a really hard time covering anybody. And I get the Chiefs defense can't stop Derrick Henry, but if I'm talking about a fast passing offense against a fast passing defense, against a fast rushing offense, I think the passing offense just gets there quicker. They get more possession and they score faster. So I just have a hard time seeing the Titans keep up.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that your favorite game is a Chiefs team that rarely covers on the road against, a team that
they have. Look at the numbers though. The Chiefs have covered against Washington. I mean, the Chiefs have been covering and on the road covering. And right now, road favorites in the NFL are hot. I mean, it's crazy right now what road favorites are doing in the NFL. There is no home field advantage in the last month of the season. There is no home field advantage.
Okay. I would like to actually forget about this. I would like to talk about the game, Matt, that you and I were just very briefly talking about before we got into it. A game that you are on both your circuit teams that you are trying that you tried to have them not be on, but you were outvoted. That's the Panthers laying 3 to the Giants. Now, Matt, I do the BettingPros podcast. I do my 3 best bets, for the week. This was my first one, as well as the under, by the way. But what I am terrified of is the fact that everybody's betting the Panthers and the books don't care whatsoever. And that scares the heck out of me. So is that really what's going on in your mind? Why you don't like that game?
Well, a couple reasons. One, 89% of the spread bets and 84% of the handle are on Kansas City. Are on Carolina minus 3. We're not, as you mentioned, the number opened at 2.5. It went to 3, and it hasn't moved. And we're watching all the money come pouring in on a home dog, and it's Sam Darnold in New York without Christian McCaffrey. Daniel Jones is horrible covering. I get it, but I just don't like this Carolina team without McCaffrey. Their offense is totally different. I don't like the passing attack. I don't like Darnold. The bloom's off the rose for me when it comes to Joe Brady's play calling ability. And I don't love that defense either. I mean, I just think you're going on the road. You're a mediocre team. I'm backing a mediocre team against a okay, not an awful defense, but an okay defense on the road with a quarterback I don't like. I don't like either quarterback, to be honest.
Sure.
But I thought there were other games, and everyone, both my circuit team partners, both the Daily Juice and my personal team, stood on tables for the Panthers. So we're on the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm terrified about the fact that it's obviously an incredibly public play here, but it's very tough for me, Matt, to really figure it out. I mean, look, Darnold, I'm well aware of Sam Darnold's mediocrity for sure, and certainly it's coming back down here. But I think really, number one, he's bad against pressure, and the Giants don't get any pressure whatsoever. Daniel Jones is not good against pressure, terrible actually against pressure, and the Panthers get a ton of pressure. So I think just in a macro level, like that's where we are. I think the Panthers are going to run the crap out of the ball. Like I love Chubba Hubbard. His prop bet is juiced up right now. I mean, it's up there. I mean, I think the last time I saw it was like 73 or something like that. I actually recommended taking the over for it still because I think he's going to get like 20 carries in this game. I think they're going to try to basically keep the ball away from Darnold on the offensive side. Just be like, just give it. It's fine. So I do think that, which is why I also lean towards the under, by the way, in this game as well. But I realize it's public, man. But other than the fact that it's so incredibly public, I have no way to talk myself into the fact that the Giants can keep this game relatively close. Just given the strength of the Panthers defense,
you're not normally this public because not only is the public on the Panthers -3, they're on the under big time.
Are they on the under? Oh,
and the pros are on the over.
Oh no. Well, look, I made my picks early in the week, right? So before I know where people are going, I make it. But number one, I can't get off it now because I have publicly recommended them anyway on the BettingPros Podcast. So I'm in on this one. But yeah, I don't like being that public. But let's talk about another play that it sounds unpublic. I'll give my first prop coming up here in a minute, by the way. And I will say again, guys, like props are hard on a good week, right? It's hard to find an edge based on how the books sort of set these lines. You can imagine what it's like with 6 teams on bye. All right. So cut me some slack here with them. The Packers are laying 8.5 to the Washington football team in Green Bay. So you had some thoughts on this one from a public perspective.
Well, look, this is the most at WinBet now, and this is all, this is this morning from WinBet. The Green Bay Packers are their number one liability on the day. The most money has come in on Green Bay. It opened up at -9.5, and it's come down.
Yeah,
and yet they are it's their number one. You have 91% of the handle and 86% of the bets at WinBet are coming in here on the Packers. You've got 55% of the money on the over, but 74% of the bets are on the under.
Wow.
So you have a little bit of a split there in terms of what the public thinks. Public thinks is going to be a low-scoring game. Pros do not. Pros are on the over, and you've got everyone on Green Bay. My personal circuit team, we faded this. We took Washington plus the 8 because we figured everyone and their mom's going to be on the Packers. And once you cross that 7-point threshold, it's a lot easier to get involved with a road dog. And I think Washington can keep it somewhat close. I think they lose, but I think this number is way too high for a Green Bay team that has been inconsistent at times. And I know Washington's 1-5, but they're fighting. And I like Heineke.
They're 2-4.
Oh, 2-4. Sorry.
2-4.
What are they against spread? Sorry, no, they're 1-5 against the spread. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
1-5 against spread, 2-4 straight up.
Yep.
For Roberts, and Green Bay's 4-1-1 against the spread. So, I mean, this might be one of those games where the book just take it and Green Bay ruins them. I wouldn't bet it, but I do like it for a circuit pick.
I mean, I think the one thing is like Washington, as bad as their defense has been, like they're not the dominant sort of line that we sort of thought they were. They still get some pressure. Rodgers has actually been one of the worst quarterbacks this year while under pressure, which was surprising me when I looked into it. Matt, somebody's just asking a question here. I put it up here. He wants to know, what does it mean when you say that it's the biggest liability for the books?
Sure. Sorry. Okay. So liability means the amount of money that has been placed upon one side that the books are needing the opposite to happen. So if you're thinking about like having a bill being due, the biggest bill that they may have to pay on the day is the Green Bay Packers laying 8 against Washington at home. So if Green Bay covers that spread, it would be a bad thing for the books. They would owe a lot of money to the public bettors who came in who have bet Green Bay.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's start with some props. This is a dumb one, Matt, but I feel like today's a good day to be dumb, right? Like it's like a good day to just be silly. I don't know. I might look, I bet these last night. This is when I write them in. I don't look at them this morning. This one's not a Dan Harris does his amazing fantasy projections, and this is where he comes out with the biggest edge. This is more of a fun, silly one. But I'm going to go with Jared Goff over half an interception at minus 135. I mean, you have to think, right? Unless this is, again, it was minus 135 last night. I have no idea where the number has gone at this point to it, but I imagine it's still at half an interception. Like, this is just going to be, I'd love to see, Matt, this weird narrative where Jared Goff somehow comes out and has a great game against the coach that just basically shit all over him and you know, kind of, he has no respect whatsoever. But
I bet the over, Dan.
You're on the over, huh?
I bet the over, and I'm on the over for the Lions team total.
Okay. What is the Lions team total?
16.5.
All right. I mean, I feel like it's gonna have to take garbage time, man. I mean, I'd love it. I'd love it if it happened, but I feel like it's gonna have to take garbage time. How is
everyone? Everyone is too. It's just it's another one of these very, very public sides.
Yeah.
Where the narrative is the Lions are going to get their doors blown off, and I can totally understand it. I mean, on both circuit teams, I'm on the Rams minus 15. Okay. But I don't think this Rams defense is as good as everyone says it is, and I think Jared Goff's going to throw the football on them. I really do, and I think they're going to move the ball. And I think people who like me, we're going to need. It's going to be like I think it's going to be like the Bama game, where like in the first half, we're all going to be like, wait, what the hell's happening with the Rams? And then the second half, the Rams come out and finally cover and blow the doors off. But I think in the first half, I think the Lions have got a shot to be a little bit plucky here and score, 14 points in the first half, and then get a late touchdown in garbage time to go over their team total.
I'd love to see it. I would love to see it. It's just very difficult for me to like. Where does it come from? Like they have one receiver, and it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've got T.J. Hawkinson, who's basically been banged up all year, and they've got the running backs, and their offensive line is decimated, and it's not who's stopping Aaron Donald when he gets pressure. It's just really, really tough for me to see it, but I would love to see it. But you are on the team total then for the Lions, but you're on the Rams for the game.
No, I'm on. Well, I didn't bet it. Okay. So the circa is 15. The live line's 16.5.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to going all the way up to 17 is probably my limit if I was going to bet it. But I just personally think that there's an opportunity there from a total perspective. It hasn't moved. 50.5 hasn't moved. And that's a little bit concerning because you're kind of like, figured this line would go up. But I think that's still very possible if I get the team total on the Lions. I have a half a unit on the over 50.5, and I have a half a unit on the Lions team total at 16.5.
Okay. Let's talk Jets Patriots. This line also has just sort of sat there all week at 7. We talked about it. This is a prime teaser piece for a lot of people to tease the Pats down to laying a point. So basically a pick 'em here. So is that what you're doing? And if not, what do you think about the 7?
So I teased it to 1.
Okay.
And then I took the Eagles and put the Eagles to 9. And that's my personal teaser on the day. So everyone's on the Eagles against the Raiders, and I just okay.
Wait, is that a very public play as well?
Or is no, Raiders are, it's pretty, I mean, there's 67% at WinBet is on the Raiders for handle, 63% of the bets. So there's some two-way action going on there. There are the money line handle. You've got a little more money on the Eagles, 56% on the money line on the Eagles, mostly probably due to parlays, money line parlay bets. With the Eagles on the road against the Raiders. The Waller deal is pretty significant, I think, for the offense. If Waller plays, I may be on the over 48.5, but I need Waller to be in the game for the Raiders. Even if he's not out there at full strength, I need him to be on the field. I need the threat of Darren Waller to open up everybody else. And I mean, the Raiders defense gets some pressure, but I mean, some people say it's smoke and mirrors. And last week was this like real big high, and this week's going to be the fall down. I know people who have their big bet of the day on the Eagles. There's just a lot of professional money I've seen on Philly here. So I just said, fine, I'm teasing that up. And if I'm wrong, maybe it's a 7-point win for the Raiders, and then that's it. And we get the cover on the teaser.
What's the spread right now that you see?
3 or 2.5?
I've got it 2.
Is it 2? Okay.
I've got it 2 now, pretty much everywhere. I don't even see a 2.5 out there. I bet MGM it's at 2.
Yeah, it's Circus at 2 as well. Yep, it's down.
Yeah.
So big Eagle money. Big Eagle money's come in, clearly.
So this was the third. Everybody, I hope you listen to our Betting Pros podcast, which, by the way, I believe I've had 5 straight winning weeks.
Woo!
Yes. Oh, it's been a nice little run here ever since week 1, which was 1 and 2. I've gone 2-1 or 3-0 every single week. I'm also, by the way, I'm going to be clipping it. You're going to see it. I'm making our guys clip it. I had one futures bet, Matt, for the MLB at the start, and it was my favorite bet was the Astros to win the AL. The Astros to win the AL at plus 1,100. So we're on a little bit of a run there. So here's what I've got, Matt. This was my third pick. Was the Eagles getting 3? And it was a very much of a buy low, sell high sort of spot. But they are the spread started dropping, so I did make a part of a teaser as well. So you're on the Eagles are plus 9. You got it when it was plus 3.
Yeah, I teased it up personally and I pulled the Patriots down. Just looking at it, going, okay, the Patriots number the total has crashed. It's 42.5 for New England. Yep. So I was like, look, just don't play around with the Patriots having to win by a touchdown. Just have the Patriots win. Period. Just win the game, and we're good. So it's a very popular teaser. Yeah, but you're kind of. I felt like this is one of those weeks where you're kind of stuck. Yeah, looking for like how are you gonna play this, and what's the angle to play it, and so there's a lot of different things for this. Hi, garage door opener. What's up?
I'm glad it's happening. It's amazing. I could podcast at 3 in the morning, and it doesn't matter. Everybody should know. All right. So look, I like it. I get another Eagles fan, but I do want to ask about another game, and this is actually, Matt, the second part of my 2-team teaser. The Eagles are the first. Now I got them when it moved to 2. Once it moved to 2.5, I was like, oh shoot. Yep. I didn't know what's going on. There we go. Okay. But somebody, the Fury of Curry is asking, Miami, a home dog? They traveled. I get it. But Atlanta stinks. So you've got, obviously, Atlanta off the bye. You've got Miami in a little bit of disarray, obviously, because you've got all the Deshaun Watson rumors. They didn't take the bye from London. This could be a complete and utter disaster. But it was 2.5 all week. I'm now seeing it at 2 and 1.5 pretty much everywhere. So what are your thoughts on this game where now, let's say the Falcons are laying 1.5 to the Dolphins in Miami?
WinBet is taking some public money on Atlanta. They have a slight liability. 58% of the money is on Atlanta here. I would lean Dolphins personally, but I really want no part of Tua right now. And Tua is a lot of ways is playing for his job today. Yeah. If he goes out there and balls out and plays really well, maybe they think twice about pulling the trigger next week for the trade deadline when it comes to the Deshaun Watson news. Yep. This is 2 bad teams on a bad week. Yep. There's other places to put my money. All right. like if I was going to bet, if I was going to take this, it would have been a circa play. Like this number opened at pick, steamed up to 3, 2.5, and now it's back down to 2, 1.5. So there's 2-way action on this game. I mean, there's more bets on the over, 60% on the over, but more money on the under. Okay. So it is literally there's a discrepancy there. You've got money line tickets, 66% are at WinBet are on the Atlanta Falcons on the money line. Yep. So people are just kind of bypassing and just saying Falcons are going to win the game outright. Yeah. But I mean, you got to wonder. I mean, Miami's 2-4 against the spread so far this year. Atlanta's 3-3. Or 2-3, sorry. You just got to wonder a little bit about what happens. No, 3-3. Sorry. Yeah, right. You have to wonder where the mindset is for the Miami Dolphins going into this game. And Brian Flores, too. I'm not saying he's going to get fired, but oh boy, man, there's a lot of questions right now with that guy coming off that loss. I called it last week. I said Jaguars win the game outright. You did. That was crazy. Jaguars outright. I called that. I called the Titans outright last week. So, I mean, a part of me says Dolphins win this game outright, but I don't want to touch it. Yeah. I teased them up when it was 2.5 to 8.5. So I think, but that was, to be fair, that was sort of early in the week. Where kind of before by the way, now they're trading for Deshaun Watson. They really just seem like a team in disarray. I don't know. I'm waiting for the inactives. I want to see whether or not they haven't played well, unfortunately, somehow, but whether or not, Xavier Howard is going to be active and everything like that, because that does boost them up a little bit. But it's hard for me to see Atlanta really running with this game. Like, I realize, like, they beat the Jets in London. Woohoo. Like, fantastic. You won by 7. I think, the offense for the Dolphins looked better than sort of, more competent, at least with Tua than Jacoby Brissett. So I teased them up to 8.5, but I don't feel great about it. I'm going to get to one more prop. Then I want to ask you about Cincinnati visiting Baltimore. Thank you. The one good game of the day. Come on.
That's a game. That's a game everybody wants. And I'm actually very interested in your opinion on it. So this one's the next one. Again, this is juiced up. It may have gone to 6.5 now, Matt. But right now it's juiced up. You should be able to get, a Sterling Shepard unlikely to go reportedly now. So that's really unheard. It's Chris Godwin over 5.5 receptions. It's minus 150. Matt, I've seen a couple of 6.5s out there at plus money. Here's the thing. You've got no Antonio Brown. You've got no Rob Gronkowski. You've got Godwin, who's probably going to play some, obviously, out of the slot. Some. The Bears are horrible against slot receivers. This is a spot where I think Godwin's going to just, as long as he doesn't get injured, he's going to get so many targets in this game that he's going to get it. Again, I don't know if it's still minus 150. This was last night. If it's 6.5, Matt, and it's plus money, I would also take that for sure. So
I like it a lot.
In what I think is a tough week for props, that's where I'm gonna go there. By the way, that Brian Rhodes, I will say as well, is asking Chubba Hubbard over 75 yards. Yeah, I actually would. I'm not gonna make that one of my plays. I did do a video on BettingPros, which you can watch right now, where I did say I think it was 73.5. I have a feeling that this is going to be a big one. So
yeah, Godwin over 6.5 is plus 120.
Yeah, I take it, Matt. I take it at plus money. Because I do think I haven't projected for, at 7.1, at this point, because I just once Brown went out, man, like that.
That's why I like it a lot. And they're at home.
Yeah,
and it's just,
and you can pass. You can pass on the Bears. Like you can pass on them, especially that the cornerbacks has really just been their liability this year. So I really like it.
Can I say one quick thing about betting? Just real fast.
You can say whatever you want.
So I think there's a really, and I was talking with Raheem Palmer both publicly and privately yesterday from the Action Network, who I really respect and like a lot. And so he went and pointed something out that I thought the same game parlay on prop bets that everybody's doing right now. You guys have got to realize what the books, they have a 28% hold right now on that bet. This is gold right now for the sports books. They are raking it in every day, but more on Sunday than any other day because these same game parlay prop that they're offering. There's a reason why you're watching every advertisement across the country advertising same game parlay on props. All right. It is really, really hard to consistently beat the books when it comes to games. Parlays for one thing, as we know, but they're even harder to hit with prop parlays. So if you're going in there every week right now, and one of the things you're doing, and this is something where in Vegas, nobody offers this and nobody plays it because we know better. Okay. Yeah. The public here, we know better not to parlay props because it's so difficult. And even when you walk up and go, can I parlay props? The books are like, get out of here. They want no part of it because either you're super sharp and the books don't want to get involved, or it's just, they know it's a really predatory bet. And all the other markets, all the other states that are legalized right now, what are you seeing constantly on TV? Same game props, same game parlays, over and over and over again. I mean, DraftKings, not to call them out, but they've got a little thing where you hit on it, same game parlay, you hit on it, turn it on. Like we all love turning on a little button. You turn on the same game parlay. They're not the only ones. It's everyone who's outside of Vegas, outside of Nevada. So just if you're doing a lot of same game parlays on props, stop or limit it and drop it down because the books, you're the best friend of the book right now when it comes to how much money you're throwing at them. So,
I'm sorry, can you clarify? Are you talking about like player props, or are you talking about
same game parlays where you include player props in the same game parlay?
Oh, so that's become I'll be honest, I didn't know that has become a huge thing now.
It is the thing. It is not just a huge thing. It is the thing right now
with player props. Okay.
They're allowing people to parlay player props together, and it is crushing the public.
Wow.
It is a month. Go look at the different state numbers across as to what states are reporting and where they're making their money.
Yeah.
And I mean, 28% hold is bonkers. I mean, this is a beautiful thing from the book's perspective.
By the way, explain, because people are asking, explain what that means. A 28% hold.
It's what they're making off each bet, right? So they're making 28 cents off of every $1 that gets bet. So like every time you're betting $1, they're making 28 cents off of that dollar every time. Okay. So a normal theoretical hold is supposed to be 3 to 5%. Okay. So in a coin flip game, that's what the books are going to make 3 to 5. They're making 28% on these same game parlays. All right. So this is 5 times, what they normally would be making on bets across a Sunday. that category is like a gigantic green flashing bulb to all the books going, oh my gosh, look what we're making on this. Keep advertising same game parlay. So the SGP stuff that you're seeing across on TV, on FanDuel, and everything else that you're seeing constantly, that's why you guys are seeing those advertisements consistently, because they are crushing you, because it's incredibly difficult to hit parlays to begin with. And then you're going to narrow it down to a micro market. It's so hard to beat the books. And what they do is, hey, it's plus 10,000. And you go ahead and run these huge things. And then you got the dude who's out there who won $1 million on a parlay. And they're going to advertise the hell out of that guy because he's the one lottery ticket winner. And there's 18 million of you who are losing today by betting these parlays. So I hate parlays. You guys know this, but the same game prop betting parlays is an awful idea. It's just an awful idea.
All right. So for the juice, Matt, from now on, I want a don't bet a prop parlay. Okay. That's what I want.
Let's go down into the micro markets really. But anyway, all right, let's get to the Ravens and the one good game.
I was getting there. I want all your thoughts on it, Matt. I am on a side on this game. I would like it. Ravens are laying 6.5. That number has been there all week long. 6.5 at home divisional game against the Bengals. Go ahead. All your thoughts.
I want to tease this. It qualifies for the Wong teaser. This is the game I wanted to, and I cannot figure out which way to go on this because I love Jamar Chase today, anytime touchdown. Yeah. I love Jamar Chase today over receiving yards. And yet it feels like this is going to be a win for the 5-1 Ravens at home. And if I tease this down to a 0.5 point, all I need is Baltimore to win the game. And the books know that. And the liability for teasers in this game will be huge. Yeah. Everyone, I feel like, is going to tease the Ravens down and take the Ravens to win. So I'm thinking about maybe I just fade that and I take the Bengals and I go up, but then the Bengals don't technically qualify for a Wong teaser if I do that. So I don't know what to do with this
First
game.
of all, I feel like you've got a few options this week for the Wong teaser, don't you? Like True. You've got a bunch. So why
the totals are so low?
I know. So why this game? Why this one do you want to go after?
Because I want to be involved in this game. It's a little bit of a selfish thing. I want to have something on this game because I really like it. And I think it's a huge statement game for the Bengals. I have the Bengals over 6.5 wins.
Yeah.
And man, if they win this game, I'm good.
Yeah. We'll cash that.
I'm cashing that ticket.
I'm not marking it yet as a win in your sheet, but yeah, I would put it.
Both my over 6.5 Bengals and the Raiders. If they both win today, I'm good. Like I feel extraordinarily confident that they're going to win 7 games. And so like I'm involved with the Eagles and the Raiders, just teasing the Eagles up. So part of me wants to tease the Ravens down. They're 5-1. I don't buy the letdown spot, for them, but I just wonder, is this the coming out party for Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
Is this like the game where we're all like, holy crap, look what this guy just did to this Ravens secondary because they were so banged up and the Colts moved the ball on them in prime time. What is Burrow going to do with those 3 healthy wide receivers?
Matt, I'm getting a report that Ramondre Stevenson is inactive today. Do you have any idea why that is, out of curiosity?
I mean, any running back for the Patriots is just go ahead and, change and replace and move on. He's been decent in the passing attack for the Patriots.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit concerning, but these are the games where the Patriots, I actually like when the Patriots deactivate people that are surprising for these games because I think it tells you what Belichick thinks about the opponent. And he just kind of says, all right, get him some rest because we're playing a clown show team.
How dare you? Jets all. I'm just kidding. That's fine. Okay. So Matt, I want to be honest with everybody. I don't have a good, I almost feel exactly as you do, which is like, I need a piece of this game, right? Because this is the game, right? We want a piece of it. So I do have a small piece of it, which is the Bengals getting the 6.5. Here's the thing, Matt, a couple of weeks ago, like I realized, right? A couple of weeks ago, the Ravens were a record-setting field goal away from losing to the Lions.
Right.
And then they were getting the doors blown off by the Colts until they went absolutely nuts and wound up winning that game. And now all of a sudden they have a huge game against the Chargers. And now everybody is like, ooh, boy, like this is it. This is going places and stuff like that. I am not in any way convinced that the Ravens win this game at all. So to me, you're right. Like I can't tease the Ravens down to a 0.5 point because I do not feel comfortable that they're going to be able to win this game. And again, we had our guest this week was Ian McMillan over from BetSided, I believe. And he basically gave him, I was like, what are your 3 best bets? He gave a money line bet. and it was the Bengals winning. And he, by the way, is betting every single game this year for like a thing. Yeah, I don't know. That's like his like thing this year. And he's hitting right now, and he admits completely that's totally fluky and it's ridiculous. He's at a 70% clip right now so far this year. A 70% clip, picking every single game. And he, again,
total or just having a bet on the game.
So I think he has to do a bet on the game one way or another. And sometimes he does multiple. Sometimes he does multiple bets on the game, like where he'll do spread and total and stuff like that.
Okay.
But his favorite was, and he admitted, he was like, realistically, I would take the Bengals plus 6.5, but I want to do one money line, one total, one against the spread. So his money line is the Bengals winning. So bottom line for me, Matt, is it possible the Ravens come out here and they're like, hi, we're going to make a statement. We found our footing. We're going to win by 17 points. It's possible for sure. But really, Matt, I'm not surprised if the Ravens lose this game. So for me, I'm just staying away from it. In that sense, I'm taking the Bengals, getting 6.5, but a very minor bet because I don't know how this one's gonna come out.
By the way, the Cardinals are minus 20 right now. I mean, are you kidding me?
Wait, no. Has it gone all the way up to that?
Yeah, I just saw it. It's why.
I've got it 20 at DraftKings. I've got it 19.5 overall for the consensus.
So. I mean, you guys, 3 touchdowns. A point spread. We're starting a game 21-0.
Did you take any of these big spreads, Matt, in Circa?
Yeah, Rams minus 15.
You took the Rams minus 15
on both teams.
Okay.
I think the Rams are going to just.
All right. Here's what we've got from at least Rappaport. For the Packers, Preston Smith and Kevin King are out. For the Jets, CJ Mosley is out. Fantastic. For the Giants, Sterling Shepard is out and Evan Ingram is in. For the Patriots, Donta Hightower is out. For Washington, Will Jackson, their cornerback, is out. And then Julio Jones is in. Devontae Parker out. So that's where we are there. By the way, you guys should know what my Sunday mornings are like. Very fun. Instagram Live on Fantasy from 10 to 11. Then I do this show. Then immediately after, I have to rerun my projections based on all the inactives to get my lineups in. So there to get my rankings updated. So that's where we are. Okay. So
by the way, did you say what you are on the Titans? On the Dolphins, Falcons? Did you say what side you like?
No, I teased the Dolphins up. That's the only thing I'm willing to do on it. Tease the Dolphins up to over a touchdown at this point.
Yeah, that's in terms of the Wong teaser. I think that's. I mean, it's a home dog.
That's why sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I think that's. Right now, I mean, I'll make this play here in 15 minutes, but right now, I think the most logical and most likely, because I'm not giving the Giants 9 points. I can't do it. I'm very much against it. But Packers taking the Packers down from 8.5 down under to 2.5, and Packers minus 2.5 is maybe the other side of this. And I'm going to try to like middle this myself because I'm on +8. But like Packers win, but Packers don't cover type of circumstance.
I can see that. That's another game that I don't have a good sense of. I really don't. Like I think that I think Washington is better than we have seen right now. And again, maybe it's my reluctance to just completely give away the sort of projection that I had for their defense coming into the year, where it's just been so much worse. But they still do get a decent amount of pressure. They're like middle of the road in pressure rate. And, Rodgers actually struggles this year under pressure right now. So, but I don't have a great sense of it, but I would still take Matt. I think Miami is a better team than we have seen right now. So I do think that, and Atlanta, I think is a little overrated at this moment. So
why are the Dolphins playing this weekend and not having the bye week?
They opted not to. They chose not to. Every team, I don't know. I think it's a dumb choice. You ever been to London, Matt?
No, but I can imagine what the jet lag is like. I mean, I've flown from California to Boston. It's the same flight.
No, I've done that. I went to the Jets-Dolphins game. I did not play in it, unfortunately. And the Jets dominated that game. Actually, it was a fun game against the Dolphins. But yeah, you come back and your internal clock is screwed up for a while. That actually is something that gives me a little bit of pause right here. But look, really, Matt, I don't think the Falcons are that good. I think people are giving them credit. Like, yes, Matt Ryan is playing better now under Arthur Smith's offense a little bit. And yes, Ridley's going to come back and Cordero Patterson has changed things. And the Dolphins defense has been terrible. I think Xavier Howard is active at least for this game, which is going to be helpful at least. But I did think that their offense looked a little better here with Tua under. I mean, if for no other reason, Jalen Waddle is not getting, targeted 3 yards down the field only, and he pushed it a little bit. So I expect that to be something. So I'm still comfortable taking it, Matt. Now it's 1.5 now. Is that what the spread is still
for Dolphins? Falcons? Yeah, 1.5.
So I would tease them still up over.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like the second leg's going to be the problem. I like the Dolphins over a touchdown at home dog at 7.5 up against the Falcons. I find it hard the Dolphins get destroyed with Tua against the Falcons, and then, but I mean, like Packers -2.5 or Patriots -1 is an argument.
Yeah, but that's got it. I mean, the books have to know that people are going to be teasing the Packers down, don't you think?
Yeah, but I think the liability there because you have the second leg that could miss, that they're not as concerned as they are as people betting on the Packers to win. Like the bigger bets are going to be on straight, just Packers to cover. So
yeah,
that's why the numbers coming down because of respected money. It's not coming down because the public saw. I mean, number one liability and the numbers coming down to give you an idea as to what's happening with that game. So but you do go below right now. You can go below 3 points because it's 6-point teaser. You pull them down. It's 8 right now. It's 8.5 right now. You pull it down to 2.5. Total is 47.5, which is very odd to see a spread nearly double digit with the total under 49, which is why the long teaser exists because you're talking about a very low total, 49, 47.5, and you've got one team laying 8.5. So what you're saying is that the Washington football team can't score, which is okay, a little bit of a hairy conversation. So you could pull them down, just Packers to win. Maybe the better way of doing it. I don't like having two teasers tied up in the same game because if I read the Patriot game wrong and lightning strikes, then you're killing two bets with one bad game. So I don't like going with the Patriots. So I'm not going to include it in the Wong. But Packers -2.5 almost seems too easy. That's my one. But I will say this: the number is going back up because it opened at 9.5. It came down to 8, and now it's back up to 8.5.
Right. Yeah.
So there is some movement here.
There's been a lot of movement in that line this week.
Yeah,
like a lot of it all over the place.
A lot of arguing. I think a lot of arguing going on. The public's all over the Packers, obviously. But look at the public's had a very good 2-week run here. So, and this is where there are a lot of people who are standing on tables saying fade the public is dead because we don't know what the public is anymore. And there's so many new gamblers into the marketplace that, people who are amateurs, but who are very good and that come in with very large bankrolls. Right. So the fading the public idea, like just bet what you think is going to happen. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers at home, 2.5. In some ways, if I take the Packers -2.5 for the Wong teaser, I am hedging on the Washington bet, which I did not love from my partner. I didn't want to bet the Packers either, but he was all over Washington +8 in the contest. And I was like, fine, I'll have a contest bet on it, fading that, but I don't know if I want to put any money behind it. But Rodgers, I mean, this is at home, right? On the road, I might feel differently, but Rodgers at home, just to win my field goal?
Yeah, it's really hard. I get it. I completely get it. I imagine, though. It's good. But by the way, a couple of things. One, the Fury of Curry, who's been here since the beginning of the live stream. Thank you. Is very much discounting the travel back from London. I'm just going to say, as somebody who used to have to travel to Europe constantly for business before I joined the wonderful company of FantasyPros. Humble brag by Dan Harris right here. I used to, have to travel to Europe constantly. That is not true whatsoever. It is a completely different thing when you are 6 hours ahead. And I was on the East Coast in New York when you are 6 hours ahead. And you have to go and you have to come back after that trip. It does a number on your body. Now, with that said, I'm still taking the Dolphins with the teaser here. So let's very quickly, Matt, run through a couple other. I'll give my last couple of they're boring. Sorry, of my props. Anyway, so we got that. We got the Eagles. We got the Rams right now laying 16.5. So Matt, you're comfortable with it at 15, but not 16.5. Is that what it is? Or
no, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with the circa pick. I'm not comfortable putting money behind it.
Okay,
it screams backdoor. I mean, it was wild. I was talking to somebody this week about this, and the big spread games are always ignored by the public, but the professionals come in and they turn into pros versus the book games. Okay. And right now, over the last 3 years, double-digit favorites are cashing at a 65% clip against the spread. Okay, and it's because the professionals, when they bet it, they're coming in and seeing an angle, and the public goes, "Oh man, I can't lay that many points. It's too many points. I just can't do it." Yeah. And the pros are like, "Yeah, I don't care here. And if I hit 6 out of 10, that's great. So I bet all 3, bet all 3 favorites today. I'm expecting to go 2-1 and make money.
Right.
So if you have that philosophy, I don't hate it. I can't really argue on it. I mean, the Texans suck out loud, but it's 20 points. If I was going to bet this, I would have bet it earlier in the week when we at least could have gotten it at 17 and a half, 18, somewhere. But 20 is ridiculous. And you can't even tease it. It's stupid to tease it.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, it's dumb. It's 20 points.
Right.
We're teasing it down to 15 or to 14. I mean, it's dumb to go ahead and tease this.
So you're just off that game entirely, right? 19 and a half is a consensus. I see it all over the place. 19 and a half, 20, whatever. You're off that.
I mean, if you told me to bet it, I would, you give me $100 a year money. I'm taking the Cardinals. I mean, I'm not touching the Texans, but
no, I think I'd take the Texans if I'm getting 20. I really do. I think I would just say, yeah, you know what? Whatever. Let's just see what we could do. Who knows?
It's a revenge game for JJ Watt.
By the way, what is the DeAndre Hopkins touchdown prop, Matt? I don't have that included, but whatever it is, you should probably take it.
Well, I mean, this is where I am very tempted. Tell me before I tell you what, let me ask you this. How do you feel about the anytime touchdown prop overall? How do you feel about it?
I hate it. I never do it. I never do a touchdown prop, Matt. Because touchdowns to me, no matter what, are just inherently fluky. If I could predict touchdowns with regularity, I would probably be the most accurate fantasy ranker in the country instead of the 9th most accurate fantasy. Humble brag. There we go. But yeah. No.
Yeah. By the way, I'm top 10 in the country. Yeah.
But no, I don't like them, Matt. I realize that people love them and everything like that, but it's just too fluky for the most part. So
Hopkins over 71.5 yards receiving. How do you feel about that?
Go for it. It's not one of the ones I have, but I would back you for it.
Do you prefer over 6.5 receptions, or do you prefer over 71.5 yards?
I like them both. Let me pull up my projections. By the way, more than 400 people are here with us right now, Matt.
Hi, guys. Love it. What's up?
Hey guys, what's up? Let me pull up my projections just so I can see what they were as briefly because they're pretty high.
I'm going to trail your Godwin over 6.5 receptions, prop at plus 120. I'm going to trail that.
Okay.
But I want I need Jamar Chase projections and I need DeAndre Hopkins projections.
Okay, I have Hopkins. What were his numbers?
7 his receptions yards is 71.5 and receptions is over 6.5 at plus 120.
Yeah, I actually don't. Yeah, it's plus money. Okay, that makes sense because I'm at like 5.4 receptions, so I don't have him for that. I do him at 78.9 yards, but I do have Matt. We talked about it on your radio show. This was the touchdown. He is for a receiver based on my projections. He is the highest probability of a touchdown of any receiver in the game. So if you've got to go touchdown, like this would be the one touchdown, which I would be okay with it generally because they want to do it and they're going to be able to do whatever they want. So for this, but I would rather take the yardage, Matt, than the receptions, just because again, Murray can spread around whatever he wants to do in that game with it. So for that, Jamar Chase.
Right, so you want over 71 is what you like?
That would be my preference to the 5. Yeah. Or whatever it is. It's 6.5, whatever it is. And if you do a touchdown, I don't know what the touchdown prop is too. It's
minus 130 anytime score for Hopkins.
Jeez, that's nuts.
You're paying juice on it.
They know. The books know. The books know.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And for Jamar Chase, I have him at 5.2 receptions, 86.1 yards, and 0.6 touchdowns.
All right, hold on. Let me pull up this number for this game because I really do like Jamar Chase to go ahead and just eviscerate.
Oh, really?
Okay. I think Chase has a monster game here. I like Jamar Chase a lot. So tell me again where you are in Jamar Chase for receiving yards.
Receiving yards is 86.1.
Yeah, 72.5 at DraftKings right now for receiving yards.
Yeah.
For Jamar Chase. And then for receptions, where do you have him?
I'm at 5.1.
Over 4.5 at minus 145 or over 72.5 receiving yards.
Receiving yards better. Yeah, personally. The receptions is a little, there's not enough of an edge there for what it is. So
how do you feel about the longest reception prop?
Also another one that I find fluky. I mean, there are certain teams where if you combine sort of like a, receiver's average depth of target versus sort of the, explosive plays allowed, like that would be something where like when someone goes up against Philadelphia, right? The Eagles are incredibly good at limiting long pass plays. So very interesting today with Ruggs, right? Going up against them, like what's that going to equal? But for me, it's got to be a very, very specific situation for me to feel comfortable with it.
Okay. And
then, but obviously what's Chase's longest reception? Because obviously he gets targeted down the field more than anybody.
I think it's 22.5 yards.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, I wouldn't bet it. It's not something I'd bet, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, it's one of those. I find it longest reception at DraftKings from Ja'Marr Chase is 20 up to 26.5 yards now for Ja'Marr Chase at minus 135.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't.
So you're like, no,
not really.
All right, so
All right.
I just need one more prop from you.
All right,
I've
so
got
let me
three
give a
that I
couple.
like.
I'll get. You may not like this one, Matt. And again, we've just been talking about. The Dolphins and how I expect them to be able to keep it relatively close. But I do think that, and again, this is a big thing from a fantasy standpoint, that this is going to be a little bit of a breakout game for Calvin Ridley, who's been pretty quiet this whole year. And again, I think Xavier Howard is going to play. It was at 68.5. It was on our prop bet cheat sheet, one of our better bets. It's 68.5 at minus 115. That's where it was when I bet it last night. So that's something that I feel pretty comfortable in. I think that, again, he missed last game with a personal matter in London. They still won. They had a bye week. And I think you come out of a bye week and you understand, like, we need to be able to get this guy going. Receivers have torched the Dolphins this entire year. So it's possible that, Xavier Howard comes in there and is able to, somehow rebound and shut down Ridley. But I feel pretty comfortable that he's going to have a big day here. So, yes, Calvin Ridley is back. Cole McCracken, who's asking about it. So that should go there. The last one, Matt, is a rushing attempt prop, and you'll hate it because I know you don't like those props. But I do have a rushing attempts prop as well if you want to go for.
Sure.
And it's yay, okay. And it is going to be this one you might not hate, given what the spread is. It is James Conner over 13.5 rushing attempts. And the reason really is, Matt, Chase Edmonds still banged up somehow. He was supposed to be a stinger. And still he's limited in practice. They're not going to want to really do anything for him in this game. I think once they salted away by 20 points. So for me, I think they're really going to take a step back, relax, pound Connor into the ground. I expect him to have 15, 16 rushing attempts for me right here. The juice wasn't bad. So those are the two. So I've got Jared Goff over half an interception at minus 130 just for fun. Godwin over 5.5 or 6.5 if you get plus money. Calvin Ridley over 68.5 receiving yards, and James Conner over 13.5 rushing attempts. Those are my props. If you want trail, not, I've got your back on Chase. If you want that, that's fine as well.
Yeah, I'm on I'm going to take Hopkins over 71.5 yards receiving. I'm going to take Godwin over 6.5 receptions from you. I'm going to take Chase to go Ja'Marr Chase over 72.5 yards receiving. Mm-hmm. And then I'm looking around for one more. And I mean, I like sprinkling on the anytime touchdown prop just because I think it's an interesting, interesting bet, but you got to find. How would you feel about JJ Taylor for the Patriots scoring a touchdown today? Because he is active.
This is very difficult for me to really get. I mean, what's the touchdown prop on him? It's got to be crazy, right?
Let's see if DraftKings has posted it because because now that Stevenson's out.
Yeah. I honestly,
plus 200.
That's it, huh?
2-1 odds on it.
Yeah,
Damian Harris is minus 110.
Yeah, you have to assume Harris is probably going to get in there. You really like the anytime touchdown prop, huh? Why don't you?
No. I don't. I'm just.
I would go Hopkins. I would double up on Hopkins if I'm going to. I mean, he's the one who I have. He's the one who I have most likely to score a touchdown in this game.
I don't mind. I like that because I want to. At least I'll be involved on something. It'll give me something to watch in that game. Yeah. So I'm more inclined to to watch and have a prop involved in that. And then I wish I could have, and I know it doesn't really exist, but like a stack because it does. I guess offshore it does, but not onshore. The sack props. I think you're going to see a JJ Watt on a different level today. I think he's going to try to destroy Mr. Longneck. And I think Davis Mills is going to have a real tough day today against this. There's a lot of anger and a lot of animosity there from those two now ex-Texans taking on their former team, and their teammates know it, and they're both leaders. Yeah. I don't know if you saw that NFL Films clip of JJ on the sidelines last week, yelling and screaming about maybe we're just better to the Browns. Like, maybe we're just better. You guys talk all this junk and maybe we're just better than you. And I was like, wow, like this is full on. This is what the Cardinals need. That swag, that
I love
leadership.
Him.
I mean, it is the perfect guy to have on a young football team that's trying to learn how to win. And do we know, by the way, is Cliff out today?
No, he's in.
He's in. Okay,
He's
Cliff
in.
is back, so even better. All right,
back.
so then you know what he's going to do.
Right.
You know what Cliff's going to do. He's going to try to run it up there and and destroy some people. The Hopkins prop anytime touchdown, like we were talking.
Said minus 130, I think.
Yeah,
I would just do it, man. If you're looking for a touchdown prop, Matt, it is so rare. I told you on your radio show, it is so rare that I project a receiver to actually score a touchdown as opposed to 0.7 or 0.8 when I run it. And I have him at an actual touchdown. It rarely happens for anything. So just do it, man. Let's go all in on Hopkins.
All right. Yeah. Hopkins over 71.5 receiving yards, and we'll take the anytime touchdown at minus 130 for Hopkins.
These are nuts.
You guys know how I feel about prop bets. I put a quarter unit on all these. I don't go heavy on these things, so they're all kind of just added.
Oh, I'm totally with you, by the way. Like so, I do half a unit when I do my props, just because again I'm probably a little more involved in them generally.
Yes.
Right. So I have that. All right, Matt. We haven't actually. Let's very quickly touch on the rest of the games. So we have a couple other games. What do you think about the Bucs laying 11.5 to the Bears?
I think the Bears are really tough to figure out. And what's the interest level for the Bucs? Because the number is coming down because pro money's coming in here on the Bears. So the one way you get to Brady and make Brady uncomfortable is that you pressure him. He doesn't have his two favorite receivers in Brown and Gronkowski. Big game running the football. Feels like a game where the Bucs get out, win by 7, 10 points, and move on.
Okay. I'm good enough for that. I'm basically staying away from it entirely. Yes. What about that, Matt? This one actually I've gone back and forth about. You got horrible weather sort of supposed to be there, but again, now it's sounding like maybe some of it will clear by the time you get to Sunday night. That is the 49ers taking on the Colts. Right now it's at 3.5. It has bounced back and forth between 4 and 3.5. So any thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, I like the Colts a lot, and I nearly bet it at 4.
Yeah,
and I wanted to wait to see kind of where my day goes and how I'm going to put it. If I get over a field goal, if I get 3.5 right before kick, this isn't. I told the juice guys this may be an ad before the game tonight, and if not, I don't take the 3.5. This is a same game teaser for me. That this is take the Colts up to 9.5 and take the total up to 47. To 48 and bet the under. So this is very much where I'm headed. Potentially with this game. Gotta check on weather, gotta check on availability. But I mean, do you like the Niners right now? I really don't.
So this is funny. And I hate that I do this, but I try to be transparent with everybody. Like we do the look ahead lines show. I'm going to actually talk to you about that after this. But we do the look ahead lines show on Monday, and I have an instant reaction to the line. And it was 3.5, and I like the Colts. And it like that, just like sort of my first, like, let me break it down. I like what I've seen from the Colts right now. Carson Wentz looks healthy. Their defense is getting a little healthier. Jonathan Taylor is an absolute stud. And the 49ers just do not inspire me with confidence right now, regardless of who's at quarterback. Later in the week, Matt, as we went on a little bit, and I was kind of like, okay, well, look, there's not going to be any T.Y. Hilton. You know, it's Sunday night. It's home. It's a nationally televised game. They've had a week to prepare here off the bye. I started leaning more towards the 49ers. And then as I reran all my fantasy projections last night, which I do a big Saturday night sort of sweep, I then moved back towards the Colts. And then I bet it last night at 4. Wow. Like I actually bet it at 4. So I needed to go in on it. I like the Colts, man. I think the Colts are underrated. I think obviously that Baltimore game should have killed them. But really, I think what you're seeing is Carson Wentz is a totally competent quarterback when he gets even a little bit of protection here. And I think last year was largely about the line. I don't like that Hilton's out, of course, but I think they're going to have enough here to keep this game close, to keep it within a field goal. So I did bet it, especially with the weather probably meaning that it's going to be a lot of, stuff on the ground at this point. I just trust Jonathan.
Do we know, do we know the win projection yet?
So it depends. There's some dispute over what it's actually going to be at game time is the big deal for them. So what it's going to be at game time doesn't know. But it sounded like at worst it was 15-20, which is bad, but not like totally take you out of the game completely, right? A lot of it
I'm staring at 31 mile per hour wind gusts.
Yeah,
but that's current right now.
But that's the gusts as well. Like the gust is not something that the gust means something, but it's not that's not sustained winds, right? I think it was like 15 to 20 sustained. That's something you can live with, in my opinion, when you're getting up there.
The rain, I think the rain in San Fran to me is a little bit more significant just because it's raw up there.
Yeah.
And if you're talking 50 degrees, raining and windy, it sucks to be outside. Like it's just that's football weather. That's really nasty. Like that's Midwest football weather. And so that's why the total's at 42. And I don't know. This offense right now for the 49ers does not inspire me at all.
No.
So I'm going to wait and see as we get a little bit closer, but this is definitely a same game, teaser for me with giving the Colts 9.5 and taking the total up and going with the under.
I like it. Last one, Matt, we didn't touch on it Monday night. Saints visiting the Seahawks at your favorite number, 4.5.
Yeah, I have really no idea what to do with this game. I need the Saints to win this game though, because I've got over 9.5. And so I need
a big one for them.
I need the Saints to win this game outright as 4-point favorites on the road against Seattle and Geno Smith and a backup quarterback. So, I mean, this is a really important game for me. I wouldn't lay the minus 200 on the money line, but I need the Saints to win this game. So I'm pulling hard for the Saints. If it got as high as 6, I would tease it down and take the Saints, but it's not going to get there, I don't think. It would take a lot of money to come in on New Orleans, and I don't think that people aren't too intrigued or interested in laying or teasing up or laying big money on the Saints on the road here. So lean Saints, but that's it.
All right. Very good. All right.
Hold on. Wait. Before we go, I have to give the Wong teaser officially.
I'm so sorry. Of course, your Wong teaser. What? You've got it? You figured out what it is?
Yeah, I'm not going to overthink it. I mean, I want to make sure that we're not dealing with totals haven't moved yet and everything's still 8.5. It's Dolphins plus 7.5 and Packers plus 2.5. Or sorry, minus 2.5 rather. So, taking Packers below a field goal and giving the Dolphins more than a touchdown at home, talking about a total of 47.5. And then you're talking about a total of also 47.5. So both those totals are under 49. Packers from 8.5 down to 2.5. It's important. If it's at 9, I don't like it. Okay. It's got to be, you got to get it below the field goal for the Packers to win the game. Yep. And then you got to get it. If it's 1 for the Dolphins for you, don't do it. Got to get above a touchdown over 7.5 to qualify for the Wong teaser for me, in my opinion. So, Dolphins plus 7.5, Packers minus 2.5 for 1 unit and minus 120.
Do the Eagles teasing them up to 8 count qualify for the Wong teaser? Is the total?
It does. But I'm already in. So
all right, I just wanted to know because then I have my own Wong teaser as well. Then
it does. So because you've got it. The total, which is really kind of shocking at that game,
49.
It's now. Hold on, where are we? Eagles right 48.5. So it's just below 49. So it's just below. You can take the Eagles at plus 2 up. To plus 8, and so that's what I did. I did Eagles. I got it at 3, so I did it at 9. And I did the Patriots minus 1. So that also that actually is also a Wong teaser. Just
double Wong.
Wong. So it's too Wong. A 2 long day for us here.
I make it a 3 because for me I had the Eagles plus 8.5 and the Dolphins plus 8.5 as well.
Triple Wong.
Amazing. The first ever. All right, Matt, this was great. As always, thank you for joining us. Guys, over 400 people here sitting here with us all day. I love it. Always comment, by the way. I can see your comments. I can put them up there. Good luck with your betting. We'll be back as always next week. Best of luck here for week 7. Let's just survive and invest.